you should consider retiring today. Now, don't actually go retire, but I imagine you have the following in your head. Should I retire now while I have my energy and my health? And is it too early to retire because I don't want to run out of money? And those are two things that we need to make sure we're balancing. I don't want you to run out of money, and I don't want you to look back going, I have too much money. Why didn't I enjoy it more? Why didn't I retire earlier? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share 5 clips from people that I've spoken to who transparently have shared what their retirement has been like, and hopefully you can take some real pieces of wisdom, and it might just change the way you're looking at retirement. Check out this first one.
Okay, you're probably you feel very important at work. You are a critical asset. But trust me, you walk away, they will go on. You are not a necessity to make your job work. They will go on. Might take 4 people to replace you, but they'll figure out a way. If I had it to do over, I would have probably prioritized my health more. However, in all reality, when I meet people that are working and they say, wow, you look great for 62, and I'm thinking, I have time. I have time. When you're working, you probably won't have time. But I return to LinkedIn and I look at what everybody's saying and talking about, and I just feel this disconnect. And I did go back and do one project for my company. And because I had retired and I had turned it off, I didn't have the passion. It was gone. I was fine and I didn't care.
That clip received over 500,000 views, and there are thousands of comments from people who go, yep, I feel just like you. I was replaced and I thought no one could replace me, and maybe it did take a few more employees to do what I did, but real quick I realized I needed to prioritize myself, and I thought the company was everything to me, and at that time it was, but it just turns out it's not. If that's how you're feeling, let me know in the comments below. I want to help as many people as possible, and so thank you for Susie for sharing her story. By the way, that clip is taken from an entire 45-minute interview that I do with all my guests. You can learn more about those in this series, Retirement Reality. It's also available in the description below. Before we see the next 4 clips from retirees, a kind reminder, my name is Taublieb. I am a certified financial planner, host of the Early Retirement Podcast, and Chief Growth Officer here at Root. I invite you to subscribe if you want to retire early with confidence.
There's a great book, and I don't know if you know about it. It's called The Go-Giver. Have you heard that book?
No.
A Go-Giver. And it's one of my friends during this transition of not knowing what I'm supposed to do. What's my purpose? And he said, Jen, I'm tired of hearing you say what's your purpose. Here's your book. And I said, okay. So I read this book called The Go-Giver. And it's about this guy who's always trying to get the next best deal, and it's just falling through his hands. He can't get it. So yeah, I don't want to spoil the story, but I'm just going to say, when you begin to go out and add value instead of looking for your own value in your own life, but going out to add value to others in the world, it comes back. It just is a natural trifecta effect that will happen. So fabulous book, changed my life.
I love Jennifer's outlook on life. In that book, The Go-Giver, that is a real winner because so many people are worried, what are they going to spend their time doing in retirement? And she talks about purpose and more in her interview, which once again, you can check out the whole clip here. Here's a clip from my first interview with a real early retiree.
Okay, so waking up roughly 8:30, maybe sometimes 9. I've never had this luxury.
Sorry, I'm already interrupting, and I know you're 2 seconds into the story. What time did you used to wake up for work?
Okay, usually 6:30, maybe 7 the latest.
Okay,
7
so now we're at 8:30. Okay, continue.
Yeah, so it's about, an hour and a half and for my sleep, which is, by the way, big factor. When you're retired, having a good sleep makes all the difference. If you don't have to, you know the drill. It's kind of a health thing, right? Sleep, eat, exercise. So then nice long breakfast. You kind of enjoy, you listen to YouTube, you learning about outside world more. You didn't have time for that before. All the news, you kind of catching up.
Slava just speaks so articulately. I love him. And he used to wake up early. He still wakes up early, but his entire day is now dedicated to him. And it's hard to put yourself first. He actually didn't start saving until his 30s and retired at 53, which is the power of making sure that, to be honest, you're putting yourself first. And he goes on to share how he retired with total confidence, even though friends and family said, what are you going to do if you're retiring so early? Who are you going to hang out with? And he's stimulated by his friends and family, and he doesn't say that he needs so many. He just wants his core group. This next clip might be the most powerful.
Like, that should be a key consideration. And 2 days later, I went back to them and I apologized for saying that. And I said, instead, what you should do is really think about what gives you joy. What's your passion? What do you love to do? And then figure out how to make a living with that, or how to take care of yourself with that and sustain that. And that's what I would say to my younger self. I had a really good career, and I wouldn't say I regret my choices I made in my career. I worked with tons of great people. I worked with tons of great technologies. I was at really good companies at just the right time. It's like the internet was taking off, and it was fun. But I don't know that it was really my underlying passion. And maybe I would say to my younger self just to consider more options and really ask myself those tough questions about what really gives me joy.
The reason I love this clip is because it's really easy to work a job that you maybe don't love, but makes you feel safe. There's a security aspect. You know you're going to get paid every few weeks. Maybe you don't love it, but it's enough to pay the bills. And the fact that here's someone who is not saying he regretted it as much as, hey, I did wish I prioritized more of what I wanted to do or thought seriously about it. So if you're feeling that way, you are not alone.
And the first thing I would say is, in this situation, if you find yourself unexpectedly unemployed or retired earlier than you expected, take a step back and breathe. I feel like I've given myself, and I really appreciate the time to not feel rushed to do anything. No immediate financial decisions about my retirement or going back to work, just kind of breathing and letting it like hit you and wash over you what it means and what it could mean. Like I said, I use the word opportunity. I feel like it's important to think of this as an opportunity to reassess what is important, and what you want to do and what you can do, rather than knee-jerk. I think so many people do knee-jerk reactions, even when they don't have to. I feel that's where people make unfortunate mistakes in choosing a path, either whether it's a financial decision that may or may not be wise, or a job thing, maybe.
Now, I chose this as the last clip because many of you have been laid off, or you know someone who's been laid off, or you've been in a situation where you thought that would be close, and know that sometimes it can be a blessing, and it can finally be an invitation, just like it was for Lewis here, to go, you know what, I'm going to put myself first, truly, I'm going to retire. If I want to do more consulting, I can, but I don't have to. And so now he's prioritizing his health. Now he's spending time playing with software in a way that doesn't require him to have compliance overview. He's doing it for the joy, which is why he initially went into the industry. And he was let go from Microsoft after 32 years. So there are stories from people who I imagine feel similar to you, who retired with confidence, even if it wasn't necessarily part of their initial plan. Now, once again, these interviews can be seen in full on the YouTube channel with my series Retirement Reality. But if you're watching this going, wow, this is shifting the way I'm thinking about retirement, let me know. Please like this video and comment below what you learned. And then finally, if you want to work with Root Financial, you can scan this if you're watching on the TV, or you can go to our link in the description of this video and apply to work with us with just a free call. You'll have a few questions. If you go to our website, you'll see those, and then we might be talking very soon.